Hey.
Okay, and we are live. Yuli, thank you so
Mhm.
much for taking the time, for making the time to sit down and talk to us here in Bracket Mentor. How are you today?
I'm good. It's good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it's a little early. Sorry. I think it's my earliest interview that we've done, but I appreciate you working around. I know you got home kind of late from work last night, so I'm happy that you were still willing to, do this at an early time. So thank you so much for that. As we talked a little bit off camera, Yuli, the purpose of this conversation is just to inform other people of how they can transition, or if they are curious to know what other industries, other fields are like, um, they know how to get there. And in this case, you're be our case subject, our subject matter here. So, Yuli, what is your current profession? What is your job title?
Well, last night I worked as a CT tech. So I do scans. So it's kind of like x-rays and a series of x-rays, and you can see the the
Nice.
person. Yeah.
You said CC. Say it again. The title CC.
Sorry. CT scan.
Okay, gotcha. But the way you said it right now, you said, "Well, last night I did this." Does that mean that you have more than one job?
I do. So I do. I also work in x-ray.
You do X-rays. Okay, and what is the official job title for that?
X-ray technologist.
Okay.
Um, mhm.
Wow. That's so. Those are two completely different jobs, or do the scope of the work kind of overlap a little bit?
They're pretty much two separate jobs. In x-ray, you just do one shot and then you just see it right there and then. It's less detail on the image, but you get a quick kind of glimpse of what's going on inside of the person's body. In the CT, it's a various of x-rays. So they have to lay on this table and you get more detail onto what is going on with the patient itself, like within the body, the internal organs. You get to see them all completely
Wow.
clear through the CT scan.
Wow. I can imagine, no, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to put words in your
Mhm.
mouth, but I would imagine you may deal with people, let's say, obvious ones, fractures of any sorts, and maybe people with, I don't know, like scanning to see if they have tumors, like potentially cancer. Is that, am I anywhere near? Am I close or no?
Yeah, you're pretty close. Sometimes on CT scans, we can see cysts, tumors, not as bright as you would in a different branch of radiology called nuke med, where they actually see the mets light up. That's a different kind of
Oh,
field. But you can kind of see, oh, maybe this might be. So they go for additional testing after that.
gotcha. Yeah, like a kind of like initial, like first layer of
First,
troubleshooting per se. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool, nice, interesting. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Are you having to deal with potentially COVID people because to see if they have buildup in their lungs, anything like that right now?
Oh yeah, on both for sure. So X-ray, you always get an X-ray for sure of the lungs as soon as they're suspected for COVID, because you can kind of see a little bit of patchiness. If it's that bad, you can kind of see it on the chest X-ray. For sure, right now they're doing a lot of CT scans with contrast. So that is a CTA, which basically you inject this thing called contrast through their IB, and you have to inject at a high rate so that it matches the arterial flow of the person's body. So that way you can see if there's any blood clots within the chest.
Wow.
And since COVID patients tend to have blood clots, that's why they're doing a lot of CTAs on the people's chests that are suspected for COVID, just to see and rule out if they have any blood clots there that they need to treat right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get to see them all.
Wow. Hey, hats off to you. Round of applause here for somebody that's that involved with, the dangers right now to being in the medical field. So definitely
Mhm.
appreciate that. Somebody from my job actually, their spouse had blood clots in their lungs, and turns out obviously they had COVID. So that's pretty crazy. I imagine they went with someone like you, apparently, right? To find that out. So, wow. Okay, cool. That sounds a little dangerous. No, exciting, right? Hey, it's exciting times, right? I don't think if you're in the medical field, you're gonna be exposed at some point to this stuff, you know. So
Mhm.
again, very brave of you. Appreciate you, Yuli. So I guess next question: how long have you been doing this type of work? How long have you been in this in these fields?
Well, right now it's been about a year, a little over a year now. I graduated last May, and kind of going to the school part of things, to do the CT part. It is a certification, so it was an additional like 6 months of schooling after I finished the X-ray program. And so I didn't start working until the end of that certification. So it's been since August of that last year.
Gotcha. Okay, so in order to be, say it again,
CT, a CAT scan or
guys can professional or specialist,
tech.
or even with
Uh-huh.
the X-rays, how much college is that as a whole? Like I know there's a specialized program after you grad. You know, I know how that works, but how long are we talking about? If somebody wants to join, how long would they have to be in school for?
So there's two ways to go about it. There's the slower way where you have to get all of your prerequisites before even applying to the program to be an X-ray tech. That can take 2 years. Or you can try and kind of hustle, I guess you would say, and try and finish all of that in a year. And if you get accepted, then the program itself is another 2 years. So it can be up to 3 to 4 years to just do X-ray. Now, during the X-ray program, they give you an offer to start taking classes for CT. And so you take half of your classes within that second year of your X-ray program and then finish off during the summer. And then you can become a CT tech after that. So roughly you're looking at either 3.5 to 4.5 years to do CT or 3 to 4 years to do X-ray.
Man, dude, yeah, again, I can tell you're a go-getter. You know, you're like, man, don't waste time, just like hustling. Yeah, that's impressive. That's a significant amount of time. Yeah, I guess at that point you got to know that you want it, you know?
Yeah.
So I can tell that you want it. So good for you. There's a lot of
Thanks.
uncertainty right now with people, either millennials or even Gen Z people. That's like they don't know what they want and they'll hover in limbo a lot. So
Mhm.
hopefully this conversation, this space that we're creating here in BracketMentor will assist clarifying any doubts they may have. So again, thank you for sharing that information. What are some of the ups and downs about being in your field, Yuli? Just keep it real.
Well, I think, I mean, it's pretty cool getting to help somebody because you do get to help somebody mostly like when they have a break or, an X-ray when you see right away that they're hurting, and then having to be able to help in their recovery and stuff like that. And you do come across very nice people, that are there and they need help, from whatever was causing their pain. But the downside can be I mean, it's long hours and it really does depend on how much work you kind of put on yourself because you can either choose to go the PRN route, which is most of the time the route you have to go to kind of get your foot in the medical field. So PRN is basically you pick up shifts. You pick up shifts so you don't have a set schedule. So that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing because, good thing because you can pick your own shifts, but bad thing that your shifts are always changing so your days are never set. So that can be a little hectic. And you never have like the same week every week. So your sleep kind of like changes. Some days you'll be working late, some days you'll be working early. So, but then again, you have that flexibility as a PRN that if you want to go on a 2-month vacation, you don't have to ask your boss. You can just go. You just have to not schedule yourself for that much. So there's the ups and downs basically of scheduling wise. Um, like I said, you kind of set your own schedule so you can work as many days as you want and you can have off as many days as you want. But being PRN, you don't have the benefits like health insurance or all of the other perks that they have like paid time off. So basically, if you don't work, you don't get paid. So there's ups and downs depending on how you end up having a job. So whether you self kind of apply like yourself as you're basically your own boss kind of thing, or you work for a company and you have a set schedule. So it all kind of depends on how you choose to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's common, right, for people in the medical field. Either you choose full time or as needed or as available.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Some people just want the traditional job. I want all my
Yeah.
benefits. I want, my 9 to 5. But yeah, your schedule is always jumping all over the place. So thank you for sharing that. That's a good point. People need
Yeah.
to know this. If you want to do this, just know that you may not have the perfect week to hang out with your friends or be social and be off on the weekends. It may cut over. It may cut into the weekends, right? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. Yeah. It can come over weekends. Sometimes you may cover overnights. It just depends on your availability and what you've kind of agreed upon.
Gotcha. Well, that's a good point.
But the plus side is that you can, if you really find a good job where you can knock out your work in 3 days, like they have the 312. So like you can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or if that were the case that you're applying for that job, then you have 4 days off and you have like the benefits and all that stuff. So if you're able to find something like that, then that's, just perfect because you have those 4 days off. So I mean, and that's the upside of the medical field or the healthcare
Yeah.
side of things.
I guess
Mhm.
especially hospitals, right? More than anything, hospitals, big hospitals have that.
Yeah.
Yuli, how it's hard to quantify this, but maybe you can give me an estimate. How much would it cost for somebody to go to school? Let's say somebody's watching this and like I don't care about the schedule. I
Mhm.
still want to do this. How much are we talking about? How much money out of their pocket to get through these programs? Is there even like grants or aids from the government to apply to these programs? I mean, how does that even work? Is there such thing?
Yeah. Well, they tell us as soon as we start the X-ray program, they tell us that it's about $8,000 for the 2 years that you're there. Um, but there is like I went through TCC and there's multiple programs. So there's TCC, there's Weatherford, there's a different university up in Wichita Falls, I believe, and each program is varies in expenses. But I figured that TCC is the least expensive route, and you still like get good schooling and good education. And since it is a community college, you do get like helps like grants and stuff, or something called FAFSA. So they basically kind of pay for your schooling and they give you a certain amount of money each month so that you can pay for books and classes and stuff like that. So if you qualify for that, it can be basically free.
Wow.
So yeah, I think it's pretty great that they have those helps out there for everybody.
Yeah, I think that the money piece is what may intimidate people. I'm sure there's a certain amount of people that are willing and are studious and are interested, but they get intimidated when it comes to money. Like, oh, 8,000, 10,000, like, ouch, man, I don't think I could know. But it's about being informed, right?
Hmm.
So I didn't even know about those programs. I don't know you can practically go free if you, I guess, qualify for everything or you can do your research. I'm sure it's not easy, but doing your research information, man, that's why we're doing this again.
Hmm.
I'm gonna ask the question, the
Hmm.
last question here that everyone wants to know, and you don't have to answer it, or if you want to answer it, you don't have to give me exact numbers. Give me like
Hmm.
an estimate, an average of what this field usually make. So somebody in your position, let's say with the CT,
Hmm.
how much does a person in that field on average make? Do you know to have an idea how much a year?
I want to say I'm not sure because then again, I mean, it depends whether you're full-time or PRNs. PRNs technically make more per hour, so they may make a little bit higher. But I want to say around 70,000 a year.
70,000.
Um, and X-ray would make about 40 to 60, depending on your hourly rate again. And that may change, with experience. Every year you get a little bit more, depending on where you work.
But you start off at 70 about roughly. Is that a
60,
fair statement?
70, yeah. Yeah, just
Wow,
about.
that's a good amount, man. That's a healthy start for you. If you start off there, who knows where you end up later in the career. And very important, I want to point out, you said if you are PRN, you may make more, and if you're full time with the directly in with the company, then you make a little less. I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, that's probably because PRN you don't get the benefits, therefore it costs the company less, so they'll pay you more an hour to kind of make up for that a little bit. Am I anywhere close here?
Yeah, that is 100% correct. That's why they pay PRNs more.
Good. Oh wow. So that's interesting because if you are PRN, which basically as needed, and then you get two PRN jobs to kind of fill in your full week, then you're making bank there, huh? Because they're paying you per hour. I see.
Yeah,
Already
yeah, you
figuring you
make a
guys
little
out.
more.
I'm
Huh?
catching. I'm figuring you guys out. I'm trying to figure out what
Oh.
you got going on. That's
Yeah, you make pretty good money. My mistake was getting a third PRN job because they told me that you with two you weren't going to get enough days. So I was like, okay, well, this PRN job is close to my house, and like they don't need me as much because they have a lot of PRNs, so it'll be okay. But it actually has kept me very, very busy. So if you do go into this field, just do two PRNs max, like that's enough. Um, you don't need a third one, that's for sure. And two will keep you busy.
wait. You have three jobs right now?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow, man. I mean, do you even have a personal life right now? um,
No, but I mean, then again, there's COVID, so it's not like you could really hang out with friends right now.
true, true.
Um,
Do you work
so
today?
I do work today. I work this evening. Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness, Yuli, you are a super hustler. You're not a regular hustler. You are a super one. Man, that's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Wow. Well, that's insane. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously it's not, I mean, I don't want to make these decisions for other people.
Yeah.
I think at one point somebody can break down of overworking. Overworking and burnout does exist. But if
Mhm.
you're fresh, if you're like a fresh fish in a pond, hey, I mean, if you got the energy, the drive, shoot, get it. Who are we to tell you what not to do or what to do? That's crazy though. So again, my respects, because it's still the medical field and you're
Mhm.
still, exposed to a lot of things out there. So thank you for that. That's really much all the questions, pretty much all the questions we had for you. Is there any last tips, last advice you want to give anyone out there watching that may want to go still into these fields?
Um, I would say just kind of, I mean, it's a good field and I really like what I do. I really enjoy it. But if you're going to do it, just know that it's a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and there is some sacrifice to it, and there will be a lot of studying. So having good study habits, knowing that you may have to miss out some weekends with your friends for, when you have to study. But at the end, I feel like it's worth it because you can kind of work at a different state in the same field, or you have that flexibility to just, work 3 days a week if you want, or just 4 days a week. So you have a lot of flexibility with your own schedule. So at the end, it's kind of worth it. But just know it'll be a little rough in the beginning for sure. So
Wow, that's good. Good
props to
advice.
anybody who wants to
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
no, it's good.
do
Keep it
that.
real. Just saying how it is. Yuli, that is it. Thank you so much for making the time. I know I wasn't wrong when I said you're super busy. So thank
Yes.
you so much for taking
Thank you.
this time. I really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone else watching that found this useful and helpful also appreciate you taking the time for this. And if maybe in the future, if people watch this video and have additional questions, maybe we can follow up with the round 2 interview. If by then
Interview.
you still have, maybe you have 4 jobs by then and we can't talk.
No. I'm
Okay.
thinking of cutting back to two pretty soon. So
Maybe, yeah. I hope you do, but I'll let you make that decision. So anyways, Yuli, thank you so much again.
yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.